Happening YouTube? It's your guy, the digital asset dude, coming back at you guys today with another video on New Year's Day. Let's get it. Today we're going to be talking about El Salvador and their controversy with Bitcoin. Now, El Salvador has had a controversial 2021 with their Bitcoin embrace being one of the biggest stories. Now, at this year's Bitcoin conference in Miami in June, El Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, I believe that's how it's pronounced, announced that his country would soon accept Bitcoin as legal tender. That news was met with a roar of praise from Miami's Bitcoin faithful, aka Bitcoin Maxis, Caitlin Long, Michael Saylor, and Peter McCormack. Others include many of those living in El Salvador were less enthusiastic. Now, I want to highlight that Bukele's move was largely influenced by hedging Bitcoin against inflation, which is not a bad idea. And you can see right here, El Salvador is one of the few non-US economies that uses the US dollar and is highly reliant on remittance, payments from those working abroad being sent back to friends and family. Now, when Bukele first announced his Bitcoin embrace in Miami, he was speaking to an intensely passionate Bitcoin maxi microcosm of the wider crypto community. The rest of the world has been less enthusiastic about the economics of Bitcoin as legal tender. In June, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, said El Salvador's decision to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender raised several macroeconomic, financial, and legal issues that require very careful analysis. In the same month, the World Bank chimed in, saying it would not help El Salvador move to establish Bitcoin as legal tender due to concerns over the cryptocurrency's lack of transparency and well-documented damage to the environment. And JP Morgan raised another red flag, saying there are clearly important implications for that country, but it is difficult to see any tangible economic benefits associated with adopting Bitcoin as a second form of legal tender. I will have to disagree here, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. There's also been controversy surrounding Zap Solutions Inc., whose digital wallet Strike has been used to facilitate cash to crypto transfers in El Salvador. An investigation by Decrypt found that Zap lacked licenses to operate in most U.S. states. We're going to be covering that a little bit more when we get to this slide. Now, neither Strike nor CEO Jack Mallers ever replied to the request for comment from Decrypt, but since then Zap has gained money transmitter licenses in 17 states. Some of the concerns raised by the World Bank and IMF were also raised by the Bank of England. The Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey said that what worried him most of all about the country's Bitcoin embrace was whether the citizens of El Salvador understand the nature and volatility of the currency they have. But the past 7 months have suggested El Salvador citizens do understand Bitcoin and do not want it forced on them as legal tender. Interesting. Now, inside of El Salvador, the rollout of Bitcoin Law and its Chivo wallet has not been smooth. And just this month, Salvadorans have been reporting Bitcoin balances vanishing from their Chivo wallets without explanation. And it said, to make matters worse, Bukele has not responded to these reports. Like I said, we're going to be covering that in this article over here. Let's get past this. It said the Salvadorans protested. They protested again and protested some more against Bitcoin. Universities also produced several surveys showing that the vast majority of Salvadorans believed Bukele's Bitcoin bet was a bad idea. Bukele, who has a well-documented authoritarian streak, has not wavered in his Bitcoin flag waving. Said in September, El Salvador's law enforcement arrested well-known Bitcoin critic Mario Gomez without a warrant. They said the police kidnapped him, arrested him without judicial order, and said a local business person under the condition of anonymity. These means that the citizens are actually scared to speak up against their views on Bitcoin and the adoption, which is not good for Bukele. It's not good for Bitcoin. It's not good for anybody, really. Amid El Salvador's heavy-handed battle with Bitcoin critics, the country's courts quietly went about the business of expanding Bukele's grip on power. A ruling in September allowed for Bukele to serve 2 consecutive terms as president, a decision slammed as unconstitutional by foreign powers, including the United States. As of today's date, Bukele has purchased over 1,000 Bitcoin with public money. And which is a little crazy because they said there's no transparency, and said to date, nobody knows who controls the country's private keys, a serious issue considering the fact El Salvador's Bitcoin is being added to the treasury, allegedly. All right. Now, Novia Serrano, head of operations in El Salvador for Blockbank, said, "There's no space to make wrong calls on this, and we need to be transparent because the cryptocurrency community cares about these principles." Very true. They definitely care about transparency. All right, that's that for that article. We're going to move on over to what Vitalik Buterin thinks of this. Now it says, Vitalik Buterin, El Salvador's Bitcoin approach is contrary to the ideals of crypto. Very true. The Ethereum creator railed that Nayib Bukele loves being praised. I think that's a little true. And says, shame on Bitcoin maximalists who are uncritically praising him. After a Reddit user on the r/cryptocurrency subreddit posted, unpopular opinion, El Salvador President Mr. Nayib Bukele should not be praised by crypto community. Buterin replied, nothing unpopular about this opinion. Making it mandatory for businesses to accept a specific cryptocurrency is contrary to the ideals of freedom that are supposed to be so important to the crypto space. Buterin's post continued, this tactic of pushing BTC to millions of people in El Salvador at the same time with almost no attempt at prior education is reckless and risks a large number of innocent people getting hacked or scammed. Shame on everyone. Okay, fine. I'll call out the main people responsible. Shame on Bitcoin maxis who are uncritically praising him. Very true. There was a lot of praise with very little analysis on the situation. Blockchain.com co-founder Nicholas Carey said during a panel, I think there are some valid criticisms of how the program is rolled out in El Salvador. In terms of being top-down, one of the main ethos in crypto is that there's really grassroots adoption and people are doing it voluntarily. Very true. People do not like being forced. Buterin didn't stop at his first post. Further down in the same thread, when the original poster commented, it's like Bukele pushed it, because he bought at a cheaper price and knew a country adopting a crypto would alone take the price high enough to make him rich. Buterin replied, simpler and dumber hypothesis, both for political reasons and because he's a human being like the rest of us. He just loves being praised by people he considers powerful, an example, Americans. Bitcoin maxis are a very easy community to get to praise you. You just have to be in a position of power and do or say nice things about them and their coin. It's very true. They're a very easy community to swoon. The original poster replied to Buterin. Elon did the same exact thing. Now Bukele exploiting emotions of the community. All right, moving along. Let me know what you guys think about Vitalik's take on this. And final article before we get to this video to sum everything up. This final article is about Bukele not responding to the claims of Bitcoin vanishing from citizens' wallets, which is not cool at all. In the latest in a long line of problems plaguing El Salvador's Bitcoin embrace, locals are reporting that their Bitcoin is vanishing from their accounts. Shout out Scott Cipollina for this amazing article as well. He did the first one. Salvadorans are inexplicably losing their Bitcoin from Chivo wallets, according to a Twitter user tweeting under the pseudonym El Comisionado. El Comisionado has collected over 50 examples of Bitcoin inexplicably going missing from Salvadoran Chivo wallets. The government has not responded, nor does it acknowledge the errors. And many have waited several months for a response back to get the money back. It says he doesn't think that Chivo is secure. No one could verify since the code is not open source. And very few people use Chivo because many do not know how it works. So that means those machines over there looking nice and pretty, and they're saying that they're going to be easy for people to use, but most people are probably looking at them like they're foreign machines because they don't even know what it is. They don't know how it works. They don't even think they can trust it, especially with examples like money going missing from people's wallets. I don't think I would want to use it either. Citizens have taken to the streets time after time after time, protesting Bukele's draconian Bitcoin law. Some of the world's biggest financial institutions, including the World Bank and the IMF, have also criticized Bukele's Bitcoin policy. It is well documented that Bukele has an authoritarian streak. Oh yeah, this is just getting back into what we just talked about in the previous article with Mario Gomez getting arrested without warrant. I did want to highlight this comment from a local business person. It said, "It crushes my soul to see Bitcoin maximalists around the world cheering this when if they actually sat down and read the law and regulations, it is completely opposite to everything they preach." Wow. So it may have seemed like a W for Bitcoin on the main stage, but for the citizens and for the average person, it may have actually been a loss, because this is really like communism, man. You're just forcing someone to do a whole new system and accept a whole new style of pay. A lot of these people are not tech savvy, but we're going to get into that. Let's watch this video. Let me actually pause this other video I have going. All right.
Using Bitcoin to buy clothes.
All right, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna give you guys my opinion real quick. I think that personally, Bitcoin adoption is, and well, let me give you the good first. I think the good part of Bitcoin adoption for Salvadorans is that they have an early adoption advantage. Even though the citizens don't really understand it yet, they still have the opportunity to stack sats a little bit earlier than the rest of the world, um, while everybody else is still debating and watching from the sideline. Now, also, I think it gives the country a boost in growth potential to becoming more independent and freed from the U.S. economy and the U.S. dollar. Also, like Bukele's plan to mine Bitcoin using, I believe he said using a active volcano that they have there in El Salvador. I should have pulled up a video of that. Maybe I'll make a separate video with that. Yeah, he said he plans on mining Bitcoin using natural energy from the active volcano they have. Now, on the other end of the sword, on the bad end, I think it's forcing businesses and merchants to accept a technology that they're not quite savvy with yet, and some of them don't even have technology yet. I also think it's bad for just the morale of the country, man. It's not good for Nayib Bukele's presidency. Just to be forcing things like that, especially after you lied on Twitter and said that you weren't going to force it. It's just a total bad look for the politics of the country. So, yep, that's it, you guys. It's the end of the video. Comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Happy New Year. Happy 2020.